We're not going to do it live, but we are here at Lucas Oil Stadium, everybody. Welcome to another edition, officially for keeping track at home, and I hope that you are, the second edition of the 2025 version of the best podcast available. On this field behind me, the D linemen, the linebackers worked out on Thursday night. On this concourse right now, it's Gibby, Jason Gibbs.
Not working out. Working out at eating.
I'm Andrew Siciliano.
I need a salad or 5 here for the next 7 days.
Gibby decided to come to the combine, but chose not to work out.
Thank God.
However, you are getting steps on the Fitbit, dude.
Dude, still rocking them.
Okay.
I'm averaging about 10, 11,000 steps.
It's great.
Yeah.
Which
working out well.
Should help his draft stock. He's potentially
it burns
going
one of the 3 meals that I
going from undrafted up to a potentially day 3. Priority free agent, still a chance, but likely Gibby has gotten into day 3. All right, let's talk about the quarterbacks, because the quarterbacks were on the podium Friday morning as we are taping this shortly thereafter. Everybody wants to hear about Cam and Shedeur. We will set this up for you. They both took the podium at the same time. So there's a media center, all the assembled masses there with microphones and cameras ready. They're like 8 different podiums. So they come through position by position, wide receivers and this. Anyway, quarterbacks, some were earlier in the day. Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel, for example.
Correct.
Same time, different podiums. But then you had the room evenly divided, Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward.
And you threw in Jaden Milroe.
At the same time. I didn't even realize that, by the way.
Oh, yeah. He was at podium 4.
Okay.
4, 6, and 8.
Yep.
The party central at 9 a.m. this morning.
So let's break down Shedeur first. We were both listening to Cam, but I've gone through the Shedeur transcript and seen all the videos here. First and foremost, very different personalities.
Yep.
Right? Cam pretty serious. Shedeur hat on backwards, big smile, jousting in a fun, playful way, I think, with the media. And he said, listen, I turned it around at Jackson State. We, also speaking of his father and everyone that transferred with them, did the same thing at Colorado. I believe I can do that. This is my track record at the next level. Whomever drafts me, and said, if you don't want to turn it around, then basically don't get me. Wasn't specifically referring to the Browns. Anyone near the top of the draft that takes him. He said that he can help turn a franchise around. That is what he does. He also said, and I found this interesting, Gibby, that if you doubt him, he said, if you don't think I'm one of the best quarterbacks in the draft, then that must be some hate for the family. And said, you're just using my name against me and not looking at the film and seeing what I've done and how I've helped elevate programs.
Yeah, I mean, he won the room.
Yes.
It's the $1 million smile.
Absolutely.
And he knows how to work the room. Definitely took the PR classes from his father and probably from his fantastic PR reps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he worked the room. He did all the individual national media outlets afterward, and got to the point where they were desperately just trying to get him out of the room. He could have stayed there normally it's 15 minutes at the podium, and then you get 5 to 10 minutes with all the national media outlets. I mean, he was still there 45 minutes in.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And he, like he said, he won the room. He said all the right things.
He did.
And look, he's going to be a quarterback. No one knows where he is going to go, but he did, plant the flag for, listen, I could and should be number 1, but he didn't do it in any way that I thought was arrogant or off-putting or anything
Correct.
like that. Cam Ward, different personality. If you know his story, he started running a wing tee offense and really a no-star QB coming out of Houston, went to Incarnate Word, ended up eventually at Washington State, and then at Miami last year. He's got some dog in him, a quiet confidence. I really liked him as well. He did confirm he's not going to work out, said he's going to work out for Miami with what he called, or at Miami Pro Day, the best receiver group in America. And he talked a lot as well about learning and his game developing, about making plays in and out of the pocket.
Yeah. I mean, he spent a lot of time going back to, if you're not successful in the pocket, nothing else really matters. Mobility is great, and being able to make plays with your legs and on the run is one thing and fine and dandy, but he kept going back. I mean, I think he went back to it 5 or 6 times in the 15 minutes he talked. He said, if I'm not successful in the pocket, I'm not going to be a successful quarterback.
And made the point when someone said, what would you say to the people that say you hold the ball too long? He goes, well, if I have great blocking and I've got great receivers, of course I'm going to let them get open. And then I do have the ability to make plays out of the pocket. But as you said, he said, I got to my game has developed and I have to stay in the pocket as well. Talked about the Browns meeting with Bill Musgrave.
Yep.
Obviously, and Kevin Stefanski.
Mentioned Jerry Jeudy
as well, and an offensive line. He didn't go, too deep into the Browns.
No.
But look, I came away impressed.
Yeah. No. He was great. He's a film junkie.
Yes.
He
said he didn't do the VR thing.
Yeah.
But he's open to it.
Absolutely. He said the only difference between a first-round pick and a seventh-round pick is a signing bonus. You got to go out and you got to earn it. And I like that. I like that mentality. He knows what he has to do. It's a quiet confidence. He said he's gotten better as a vocal leader, but he still believes at the end of the day for a quarterback, it's all about what you do on the football field. So he was impressive today.
It was a quiet confidence. It was not the sarcastic, arrogant confidence that you sometimes see on the YouTube videos with him and Shedeur. They're buddies, and they're just playing that up. That's just two guys giving each other grief. You talk to people in Miami, you watch the tape, how demonstrative he is when he's standing there in shotgun trying to get guys lined up. He does have a loud, demonstrative leadership to him. It was more of a quiet confidence on the podium. My favorite guy today, Emeka Egbuka, and there was no second.
He was amazing. He
Ohio
could have
State
talked
wide
for
receiver.
45 minutes, and I would have listened to every minute of it.
Beyond impressive. Revealed that he is rooming with Will Howard here at the Combine for whatever that is worth. Just a little nugget there for the Buckeye fans.
Great moment on the podium, too, when Howard replaced him and was like, get off the podium. It's my time now. Justin Fiela got all excited about it. He was snapping pictures like the paparazzi.
Paparazzi obviously all over the place for Gibby, for Fila, and for our next guest. He is the new offensive coordinator of your Cleveland Browns. This guy was here last year as the Browns tight end coach, had just gotten the job. Now Tommy Rees is here as the Browns' new offensive coordinator. Thanks for doing the pod.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, looking forward to it.
How's it different this year for you?
Well, first of all, last year had been a while since I've been at the Combine, so just kind of getting your bearings, getting back used to the flow of the days and kind of the cadence of how things are run. But, this year and what's exciting is last year when a lot of the focus is tight ends and, you want to watch the other positions, but you're really focused on the tight ends. In the role now, you really have your hands on all the position groups on offense, and you're in those meetings, getting to know the players that you spend so much time watching the film on. So, that part's really exciting. And, obviously we have a ton of opportunity this year in the draft. So getting to know these guys has been a really exciting part of the process.
Is getting to know the big headline here, because a lot of the big names are not working out. That seems to be a trend, and it's growing more and more and more. The medical is probably not your pay grade.
Right.
So how important is the getting to know factor?
Yeah, I think this is like a first impression. You get some time with them, probably not as much time as you'd like. That there's more time throughout the process to get to know them. This is almost that first impression, early introductory stages of, the person they are, the football IQ, the things that you're looking for from a trait standpoint. And then, there's enough guys here on the field, and, just because the marquee guys aren't working out, you can still find, some value in the workouts. So, I always look forward to this time of the year, and I really do like the evaluation process.
I'm not going to ask you to rank your quarterbacks. I'm not going to put you in that spot, but generally, how have the quarterback meetings gone?
Yeah, really positive. I think, these guys now do such a great job of preparing for this.
Is it too much? Is it scripted?
No, I think that's the balance that you want to find. Who's in there, who's authentic, who's a little bit scripted, but, they are very thoughtful, and everybody's done a nice job of preparing for this, and their coaches throughout college have prepared them for this opportunity. And, you get them in their comfort level. When you turn on their film, they get to start talking about them playing, and you really see those guys light up. So they've all done a really nice job. Obviously, they're not here if they haven't had great careers. So, it's our job to continue to evaluate it and, see where it goes.
It struck me, and just as we tape this, I'm just coming from the podium where all the quarterbacks did their media availability Friday morning, is the wide range of personalities, right?
Yeah.
Shedeur, he's got the hat on backwards. It's that permanent smile. He's jousting with the media. Cam, very serious.
Right.
He's worked hard to be there. He's proud of his accomplishment and the road and the path that it took to get him here. There's Will Howard smiling. Sad I want to talk about Michigan. I'm here to talk about the Combine. There's Kyle McCord. Obviously, he and Kevin shared the same high school.
Right.
I'm a Syracuse guy. He elevated a program. It's like there's kind of something for everyone in this group.
And I think when you look across the NFL and you look at successful quarterbacks, that truly is how it goes, right? I mean, there's not one personality trait, there's not one characteristic that you can pinpoint and say, this is what a quarterback is, or this is how a quarterback has to act. I think, now more than ever, you see a wide range of personality, you see a wide range of characteristics. And again, we got to go through this whole process with these guys and evaluate, how that fits into what we're trying to do.
We got a lot of starting experience. You, 50 games in college? Overall, big picture,
Yeah.
not starting,
Yeah.
I realize. Bill Musgrave, college
Yep.
legend, played in the NFL. Obviously, Kevin's background, he was a defensive back, but his background coaching the NFL on the offensive side. When you have three guys like that in the room, what are those conversations like? And what kind of unique insight do all of you have offensively, quarterback-wise?
Yeah, and I'll speak. Both Kevin and Bill have been in a lot of different offensive systems throughout their career. They've been exposed to a lot of different quarterbacks, a lot of quarterback styles throughout their career. So, being able to see a player, then attribute it to something in their past of how it's worked, how it's been successful, or how maybe something hasn't been successful. And was that part of the plan? Was that part of the player? Is there somewhere in between? So feeling that balance there. Obviously, I think Muss, having played both at a high level in college and in the NFL, he can still see the game through that lens. He still knows what it's like to be in a quarterback meeting room, to have that relationship with the players from a backup perspective. And there's a lot of value in that. There's a lot of value in still feeling the position and understanding what it looks like day to day to be in that room, to be in that role. So I think we have a wealth of knowledge, and, it's our job, again, to put it all together to make the right decisions.
Help me out with seeing a quarterback throw in person and what you get from it, because bunch of the big name guys we know are not going to throw here. Every quarterback coach, every OC wants to, or scout says, I got to see it in person.
Right.
Got to see and hear how the ball comes out of his hand. Here they are throwing, for the most part, with guys they don't know, right? Guys are also trying to make an impression, and often those guys aren't on the same page.
Right.
The pro days, on the flip side, though, often seem scripted.
Yeah.
Right? There is chemistry.
Right.
But at the same time, they've gone through this. They practiced it the day before. You probably have the script before it even goes and the cameras start rolling. Can you get more out of a guy throwing to people he doesn't know?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're looking at the fluidity of the passer. You're looking at consistency mechanically for short, intermediate, and deep passes. And I think everybody always talks about, hey, these guys haven't thrown with these guys. I remember what that's like. I'm sure Bill Musgrave obviously remembers what that's like as well. But if you're accurate and you can time things up, you should be able to time it up with guys. And I think,
and if he didn't catch it, he didn't catch it.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to understand, like, where is the miss, right? Like, if you're throwing an out route, you better not miss inside. So if a guy misses a little wide, that's an okay miss versus he left that one a couple yards inside. Can he fix that on the next opportunity? And so you're looking at those correctable errors and things that are probably a little bit nuanced. But, I do think if you're accurate, you can come out here and still hit a high number of completions.
Are you guys going to have personal workouts aside from pro days? Does that have value?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of value to getting back with the guys, having more time both in the classroom, on the field, having the opportunity to be around them one-on-one. Again, like I said, this is more of a first impression, but being able to see and build that relationship more as the process goes on is really important to how we need to evaluate these guys. So I'm looking forward to those steps of having guys, in Cleveland, being able to go out on the road and see some guys throw at their places, and it should be an exciting offseason.
And fans, sometimes you get it mixed up. Oh, well, so-and-so quarterback is in town. They're going to be throwing in Berea. They're not. They can't throw
Correct.
on those
Yeah,
30
yeah.
visits. That's more.
You got to get
the
to
building.
their campus. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Go through everyone's office. Like, it's shaking a lot of hands.
It's shaking a
It's
lot of
going to
hands,
dinner.
and there's some aspect of, can we put them in a competitive environment? Can we put them in a quarterback room environment, see how they process, see how they learn, figure out kind of the role there, the relationship they can build. Can you get them to kind of open up? And, they got all these, like you said, scripted answers, how they're supposed to act. Can you get them to be authentic? Can you get them to be themselves and really open up who they are?
Real quick here on your experience in Indianapolis, because I know having dinner and going out at night and just running into people at coffee shops, no reporter fights, but running into people at coffee shops, everyone's trying to figure out, like, what are the Titans doing? Like, what are the Giants doing? What is anyone doing in the top 10? Like, what's that like for you in this new role? In not the gossip machine,
Yeah,
but
I
you know
got
what the
you.
combine
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I get it. No, I think the combine. Look, everybody that has anything to do with the NFL is
Is
here,
here.
right? And you can't go more than 20 steps without running into somebody you know. And it is a great opportunity to see guys that you've worked with or know to catch up. But it's also a good opportunity, like, for me personally, like there are guys here that I'll sit down with for an hour or two and talk football and get different perspectives on how people are doing things. And there's a lot of opportunity there too. So I look forward to the week. I like seeing people that you kind of, as you get older, don't get to see as
Same,
often.
yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's a good time. I mean, you know how it is. Going out and eating, getting to catch up with people. You'll have conversations in places you never thought you'd have conversations, and you get to keep on going throughout the week.
When any of those people ask you, what's the offense going to look like? What do you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to get too far into the weeds with everybody. I think we want to be a group that is extremely balanced, one that can create explosive plays while also being sound in what we do. And, we want our identity to start up front, and we want our identity to be one that can create explosive plays while, being able to start up front. And we just got to continue to go through the offseason. I've been really, really pleased with how the staff's shaken out and how things have come together and the way everybody's working right now. And so continue to get going, and this is just another part of the puzzle.
I mean, you're not rebuilding the playbook from scratch, obviously. You're not taking it down to the studs.
No, I mean, I think there is some of every offseason you're going to evaluate what you do and how you want to enhance things. And, we're not stripping everything out, but we're going to look at the studs and make sure that they're secure. So, I mean, we've been going pretty at it now since the offseason started. Kevin and I have spent a lot of time together here over the last couple months, and we might not be taking those studs down, but we're evaluating them. We're looking at them. There's some aspects of what the offense had looked like in the past, but we don't want to just hand that playbook out and flip it over. We want to enhance it. We want to look at how the game's evolved, how offensive football's involved, how we can put our wrinkle on it. We're not going to have any shortage of ideas coming from our staff, and, we value those inputs, and, we're excited to get to work. I mean, it is I would say it's been a really refreshing offseason in a way of just being able to kind of look at what we want to be and how we're going to do it, and then how that fits our players, which is such an important part of this thing. And but working with Kev and Chad and Bloom and the whole staff, it's really been a great first couple months of the offseason.
Last thing for you, just what's that working relationship in the lab, like creatively?
Yeah.
Because the side of Kevin on the podium is not necessarily the side that
Right.
you see
Right.
every day. Like, he's got some sarcasm, he's got some edge.
Yeah.
Like, when you guys are on the board, when you guys are spitting out ideas, when you guys are sitting across the table with your laptops open,
Yeah.
what's that dynamic like?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think Kevin and I see the game in a really similar way from a big picture standpoint. There might be different ways to get there, which I think is going to be where the really creative ideas and the things come together. But I think in terms of a big picture, we see the game very similarly. And you're right, Kev does have a different personality than probably everybody gets to see. I appreciate the sarcasm. I appreciate the sense of humor. I probably have a little too much of that in me myself. So it's definitely a good rapport. I obviously have, a ton of respect for Kev and his football mind, and it's been great to be surrounded by him. But, it's also my job to make sure that we push and try to find new ways and continue to challenge and see if there's other ways to do things, and, even push people outside of their comfort zone to make sure that we're maximizing what we have and what we can do.
I'm looking at my watch at the date here. We are 10 days ahead of free agency, basically. We are 2 months ahead of the draft. I know I'm not patient. You're probably not patient.
I am not patient.
I cannot wait to see what it looks like. So good luck with all that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're looking forward to it, and it should be a fun ride.
All right. Thank you, Tommy.
Thanks so much.
So the Combine is going to continue through this weekend. The quarterbacks are going to throw on Saturday. No Shedeur Sanders, no Cam Ward. As we mentioned, however, it is still must-see TV. Also must-see TV, any of the wide receivers running the 40. Isaiah Bond from Texas, Gibby said he's going to break. Xavier Worthy's 4.21 said he would get a 4.20. Your 40 time?
I think it might take 4.20 just for me to get out of my stance these days. There was at one point I was around 5.
Okay.
And I felt like that was pretty good. But yeah, I'm not them, and I'm not running out there tomorrow, thank God.
Highlight for me of the Combine Thursday night, Browns linebacker coach Jason Tarver doing his thing down on the sideline. Ran into him earlier in the week. He loves it. I mean, that's his, I don't say it's his Super Bowl, but he loves getting down there. I would love to see, I should have said this to Tommy Rees when we just had him, see Tommy Rees down there screaming on Saturday. The NFL Network broadcast noted on Thursday night, please get Jason a Ricola.
Yeah. I mean, he was ready last Friday. I saw him and I said, hey, you're going to the combine? You're going to be doing the coaching thing again? He goes, I've got it all mapped out. I've been working on it for 2 weeks. I know what I'm doing. I know the drills. I've got everything mapped out. I'm going to put them all through their paces. He goes, I love everything about it because I get a chance. If we don't talk to them, I can talk to them or I can work with them and I can see what they can do. And linebacker is a pretty important position, I think, to address here in this draft and free agency.
Yeah, you think? Shamar Stewart got all the headlines. Jason Tarver, of course, stole the show on Thursday evening. So this is going to be fun. This is going to wrap it up here for the Combine. Listen, we could do probably 10 more hours on the Combine. We will, however, throughout this pre-draft process, come back with Combine stories next week when you join us on Best Podcast Available. We will preview the start of the new league year in free agency because that gets going, as we just said with Tommy, believe it or not, in less than 10 days. There is no off season. For Jason Gibbs, I'm Andrew Siciliano. Thank you for listening, watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like and send it to friends, Romans, countrymen, whomever, to everybody in your address book. We thank you kindly.